Web. So it's another movie review. So as you've seen, I've seen a lot. So this is the movie review for Horizon, an American Saga Chapter 1. So yes, this is the first film of essentially what is 2 released this year, what is potentially 4, so 12 hours. So this film is 3 hours and 1 minute long. It is from the creative genius of Kevin Costner. Yes, that Kevin Costner from Waterworld, Dances with Wolves, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, I think Yellowstone as well. So as I said, the movie is set at just over 3 hours. It is basically, the whole story is set over a 15-year period of pre and post Civil War expansion, basically in the American territories. You have Kevin Costner. He plays a kind of lone, not necessarily a gunslinger, but his name is Ellison. You have a few other, I will mention a few names and faces. There are so many people within this cast that I apologise that I won't mention them all. I'm just trying to mention the main ones. So you have Sienna Miller as Francis. You have Sam Worthington as Trent Guffrant. Danny Houston as Colonel Albert Horton. Michael Rooker as Sergeant Major Thomas. Will Patton as Owen Kitteridge. Luke Wilson, and then you have like Luke Wilson in it, Todd Allen, and then at last you have Giovanni Ribisi that shows up at the very end that you don't get to see anything, and then you have James Campbell Bower as Caleb Sykes. Obviously, we all know him from Stranger Things as Vecna. So what is this story? If you've seen the trailer, obviously you notice the trailer doesn't give too much away because it is so comprehensive in what it's saying. There is nothing after the credits. At the end of the film, it kind of has a preview of what's going to happen in the next one, which I thought was quite good. But it's basically, as I say, it basically covers it's post and pre-war. It's basically people coming onto Native American land, the Native Americans rebelling, and it's a few of the other bits that they have to deal with it. Obviously, this is explorers coming into America and the colonization and stuff like this, and obviously the Civil War that goes on. Very simple. Put the spoiler warning up and we shall get into it. So yes, so this movie starts off not necessarily where you would be. This starts off with a patch of land next to a river, and you have these 2 men and a young child who are basically plotting out to build something on here. While they're doing this, you have some Native Americans who are watching them, who end up killing these 3 people. Then you have a lone kind of straggler who comes searching across this area. He comes across the bodies, buries them, and puts their bodies next to this tree. The story then carries on. You have the next kind of civilization that comes in and have kind of built a tent. They've got a house and stuff like this. Again, Native Americans come in and start pillaging, killing lots of people. It is quite harsh. On the back of this, several of them escape. Sienna Miller being one of them. A young lad manages to ride, I think, the 20 odd miles to the local American camp where the American soldiers are. And then you kind of have this splittage. You then have the story follow off the Native American side, and you see that this young Native American, who is potentially one of the sons of the tribe leader, decides that basically this is their land and they don't want people on it. Doesn't matter what, male, female, child, they will wipe out anybody. It's not their land. They see it as that they're on their land, they're taking their animals and everything else. And it is quite a strong presence of this feeling that you don't see, or I don't recall in many war movies. Obviously, this is the reason why, the Native Americans are the ones that have kind of been the pinnacle to start this. They've been the ones that have galloped in there and killing a lot of people. Because of the back of this is where Horizon comes from. So this whole plot of land that we talk about, this is Horizon. It seems that somewhere in America they're kind of auctioning this land off, or offering that this is where land free for you to build on if you want to pay the banks and stuff like this. And this kind of goes to Giovanni Ribisi's character, as far as I can see, which kind of they link at the very end of this movie. So you have, obviously, after the Native Americans attack, they go off. Sienna Miller and the people who recovered, most of those go into the encampment. You have a group that decide not to. They want to go and hunt down the Native Americans, and they go off. While this is happening, you have this young lady. She is in this, or basically in this little house situated separately away from this. She obviously shoots this bloke and takes her kid and gallops away. And this is a woman and her child who will cut her. Basically, the bloke who was shot is the head of this gang called the Sykes. They come up quite frequently. This is where Jamie Campbell Bower comes in. He is one of the sons of it, and he and his brother are tasked to bring this lady back. So this is a side mission that you have. This woman, she's moved around. She has this new place she stays with. She stays with a friend who's a lady of night who helps out and looks after her child. And unfortunately, the brothers catch up with her. But during the process of them catching up with her after the child, they come across Kevin Costner's character. And he defends them, kills the young lad, and unfortunately then he is sent on the run. And kind of his rest of this story is very kind of him hiding with one of the girls and the child, and then they kind of all go their own separate way at the end of episode 1. For him, for me, his was the most lackluster story, just because there wasn't much into it, but I enjoyed more of the world. You have obviously the Sienna Miller's character and the people that survive this attack and how they are working within the barracks and kind of building themselves up. You get to meet more of the army men, and you see that they are going off to war. In between this, you flash forward to another part of the country of America, and you have Luke Wilson. Luke Wilson he's kind of on a caravan of people who are working their way across to go to a new settlement. You don't quite know where exactly, and you have a range of characters and people who are on this. And unfortunately, as they go along, they see Native Americans as well, and this is kind of showing the divide that they don't want to stay. They don't want, the Native Americans are the evil classes people, but obviously the American people are on their land technically as it goes into it. So you have part of this journey of them potentially I assume they come into a horizon. I don't, it isn't very clear on it, but you kind of get to see how different classes are treated and stuff, and how these people are working together, and there are a lot of good and bad characters intermixed with everyone. And where they lead up is very interesting to see. So, throughout all of this, then you have this ragtag group who've left originally, taken on some kind of bounty hunters, and they are going for the Cherokee people or the Native Americans. They unfortunately don't seem to find them near the end of this movie, the end of the 3 hour time. So they decide that basically, because they cannot find the specific people who righted their people, that they're going to go and kill some encampment anyway. And the end of the movie, or one of the last scenes of the movie, shows them basically killing a load of innocent Native American people and this is starting to build up to a big war, and you can kind of see both sides of how people interact with each other, and how there was a lot of hostility stuff, and how a lot of miscommunication and a lot of probably ego and stuff of people feeling that they're right and then other people go on. Sam Worthington's characters, like the general of the encampment where Sienna Miller is, I thought he was quite great. I quite liked his character, and he was very much, like, there is far more Americans than them. If they pick a fight, they're never going to win, but they're trying to build their encampment away from everyone else, so they don't interfere with them, and that kind of makes sense, and stuff like that. But it was for a 3 hour movie, I was entertained. As I say, it gets to this point, they kill all these Native Americans, and then it kind of flash forwards to a few things that could happen in movie 2, which I think is out in August. But there we go. That has been my review. I would definitely rate this a movie 8 out of 10. Absolutely stunning work from Kevin Costner. As I say, the few little bits that kind of bring it down is because obviously I say his character doesn't have the greatest of story, I think, yet, but there's probably more to come. As I say, this potentially is a 12-hour epic, so expect a lot more to come, because it's a part of a franchise. My reviews will go down a little bit because there'll be so much more you have to watch to understand stuff. But I did really enjoy it. If you like westerns, if you like Kevin Costner's work, I would definitely recommend this, and I will be picking this up when it comes out. But otherwise, that has been my review of Horizon Part 1. I've been Cypher Screen Time. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the things you want to do, and I shall see you in the next one.